Good morning, beautiful people, and welcome back to another video. Today we are doing something a little different, something that you guys requested, market do's and don'ts. So I have a little list this way, so if I'm looking this way, that is why. But one of the questions that I got asked in one of my previous videos is how we find markets. So a little backstory. I have been doing markets since I think it was June or July of last year, so we're not even quite a year in yet with my small business doing craft markets or craft fairs or whatever you would like to call them. But I started off looking on Instagram. I created a business social media platform for Instagram, and from there I looked up markets around me, markets near me. I've heard that you can even look through Facebook and like those kind of things. Disclaimer, all of the knowledge that I have is only for the state of California. I don't really know how other market systems work for other areas or states or countries. I am just in California. So anyways, going back, I looked high and low on Instagram. I searched up my town to see if there was anything going on with the town having craft fairs, because where I'm from in the Bay, we have a big craft fair every year throughout the summer in the little small town that I live. So I figured that would be a good place to start, like the city website. Unfortunately, there's not much in the city that I live in other than a farmer's market, which I am willing to try and I'm interested in, but it's also, I haven't really been able to just put myself out there. So like I said, the first few markets I found was through a specific organization called Creative Babe Markets. They're super, super nice, super sweet to their vendors. It was a really great experience to start with them. My only concern was that it just wasn't within my budget for markets, just given my price range. That's something that I learned really, really quickly, is because I sell from items as low as $5 to, I think my highest right now is $60, which is like a blanket. I realized very quickly that triple-digit market fees, booth fees, were not going to be my friend and would end up putting me in the hole. So I continued to do more searching. I knew that there was markets out there that were lower in price. So I ended up finding markets that range from, some are free. I haven't attended one of those yet just because they don't ever work out with my schedule, but I know that there's some that are free. I've done anything from like $50 to $95 and have seen great success with those ones just because of the price range that I have. So I just wanted to give that to the people that have been asking. Personally, I don't have a seller's permit for my company. I did look into it. It does cost money to get a seller's permit. There are certain markets that need it, that are required for it, and there's some that don't require it. So I just choose the markets that don't require it. Also because I am so small that at this point in time it's not beneficial for me to get a seller's permit, although it might be beneficial for the tax purposes. I haven't even gotten there yet with my own taxes, so bear with me. But that's how I look for them. I know that there's even like posters posted all around the towns that like have these markets. Something else that I'd like to add into this is, once you do a couple of markets at a couple of different venues, you realize which ones make you money and which ones don't, and that all depends on the crowd of people that go. I have a lot of success at breweries and those kind of markets just because there's children with their parents and they're all just having a fun night, and that's just where I see a lot of children, which isn't that surprising. Like, breweries are more family based over here, so that's what I've kind of been leaning towards because it's been helping me and benefiting me a lot. I've done Christmas tree farms, coffee shops, breweries, um, like little shopping centers. I've done quite a lot. I've traveled quite a lot for them too, and that's also something that has to be taken into consideration, like the time and prices of gas that you have to travel for and all of the fun stuff. How do you get into a market? So a lot of markets that are on Instagram or social media, those kind of things, they typically will have a link that you can select and apply for whatever markets you choose. They typically ask you what size of a booth you would like, as well as the price for those booths. They will ask you what products you're bringing, the price range of your products, if you're willing to post on social media about the event, if you're willing to donate an item to get your brand out there. It's also a liability thing. They bring up the topics of, setup is between a certain time frame at the beginning. They bring up when you are allowed to close up shop. A lot of organizers don't like when you close early, even if you sell out, just because it's a marketing thing too. And that's something that I think a lot of people don't realize is even if you're not making sales, you're still putting your name out there, getting some subscribers and some followers so that potentially it's growing your business in more than one way. But those are the kind of things that are on the application. Typically, it's like a Google form or a Jot form or something within their website, and they will email you back as soon as they can. Although there is no guarantee that you will get accepted, just because there's a lot of people doing these markets, and in my profession, there's a lot of crochet artists, so it's kind of difficult, and that's like where we kind of go into the market do's and don'ts. So, market do's. The first thing is I want to talk about product. Let's talk about product. So, a lot of the time, I feel like I don't have enough products to go to a market. My point of view on this is if you have a relatively low booth fee, you should probably try for the market, just because you never know what can happen. And I have gone to markets with like $600 worth of product and like sold over half of it and profited. So it's really a personal preference thing. It's also, like I said, to get your name out there and network with more people, talk to other vendors, get more information about other venues that they've done or other organizers that they've used for marketing. And I think that that's really important, aside from just selling the products, but moving into actually selling the products. Something that I have used that has helped my business grow and me make sales a lot easier is actually having price tags on all of the items or having very clear signage, because a lot of people like me I'm an introvert for sure. I can be outgoing if I'm comfortable, but if I'm not, I'm not gonna take the extra step. I'm just really shy in real life, and that's honestly why I started this channel, was to get a little more outgoing and talkative and social. But sometimes customers just want to peruse on their own, and having price tags there definitely helps with that, so that way they don't feel like they have to ask a question every 5 seconds, and it puts them at ease. So I think having good signage and price tags and all of that is very important. Another thing about products is that you want to go into a niche, which I didn't want to when I first started. I just enjoyed making everything, and I was like, I don't need a niche. Like, my niche is crochet items. Like, no. Now that I'm looking at it quite a few months, almost a year later, I really definitely do have a niche, and it's more like girly and pastels and pinks and ducks and frogs and like that kind of vibe, and it's really cute. I actually really love it, but it didn't start off like that. It's like you have to find what works for you and what works for your business. So I think with products, it's really just trial and error. The more options that you have, the higher the potential of the sale. So I think you shouldn't be afraid to try new things and bring in more products, because that's definitely what I'm doing. But it really shows you what will sell and what won't. Another thing is having a pretty good price range. I enjoy having the $5 items because it's easier for kids that are like spending their allowance, and I just love kids. Like I'm not trying to be creepy at all, but I was a babysitter for years. I have a niece now. I have just always loved kids. I actually wanted to be a pediatrician. That's why I came to school to eventually go to medical school. So I definitely enjoy that aspect of my company, being able to interact with these young kids and watch their faces light up when they have a little crochet item from me, and it's just so cute. Anyways, so having like the lower items is definitely beneficial, and also having some items that are higher because it'll help you cover your booth fee quicker, and some people are actually looking to purchase those higher items, especially if they're popular. And also they're eye catchers. You want to have something in your booth that makes someone go, ooh, like I want to look at that booth. So if you have like a big octopus or like a bluey dog or like something like that, like they'll be like, oh, I have to go look. So I definitely think having the range is very beneficial. I also do a sale, so that way I can potentially boost my sales and hopefully entice buyers to purchase one more item. So I do like a buy three, get a $5 item for free or something like that, just because it helps me boost sales and it gets everyone excited about the sale. So why not? You know, it's a win-win. And it's also putting my name out there and my products out there. So we're growing. Another market do is to have business cards, because a lot of people love to just take a card, or on my card I have a QR code where they can scan and literally find everything, my YouTube, my Instagram, my TikTok, like everything. They can literally find everything. And I think it helps out a lot, because if people are really interested and they want to make a sale or they want to make a purchase online, that's where they can go. And business cards are so unique. You can make them so special and unforgettable. And I know a lot of people are like, it's a waste of paper, but it's also like they could like be emptying their purse and like be like, oh my gosh, like I remember this. Like this card is so specific. I know exactly who this is and where I got it from. So, you know, it's give and take with these kind of things. Another thing that I say is a market do, but a lot of people say is a market don't, is crocheting or crafting things while you're at a market. A lot of people tell me don't do it. It's not good. Customers find it rude. It's not interesting enough. Like all of these things. But the amount of times that I get the question, is your product handmade? Do you make these yourself? What's your favorite thing to make? All of these comments that I receive from customers, and like, yes, I answer to them, but at the same time, especially when I have someone with me like Sebastian's my little social butterfly. He likes to talk to every customer and get their whole backstory, and I love it. I'm just not that kind of person, and it's really difficult for me. But when I'm sitting there, especially with him, I will just crochet some more products while I'm there, and like people will literally come over and watch and ask questions and ask if I have classes and ask all these other great things, and it really keeps them interested, and they're like, wow, this is so amazing, like your work is amazing, da 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 da. And I think it draws more people in, actually. So that's a personal choice to crochet while I'm there, but also if the market's slow, at least I have something to do, and I feel like I'm not spending my time not improving my business. So I think that it's beneficial for me personally. Another thing is being friendly. Being friendly but not overbearing. So you can smile and say hi and say good morning and, like, let me know if you have any questions, that kind of thing. But once you go a little farther over and like, oh my gosh, like, how was your day today? Like, what did you do? What's your daughter's name? Like, da 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 da. It gets a little quizzical, and then customers don't want to shop when you're quizzing them about their entire life. So you have to find the happy medium of what they do want to talk about and what they don't want to talk about. Customers can be either really, really outgoing, like I said, or really, really shy and introverted. It just becomes a lot for the customer, and the less stress, the better. So those are my do's. Here comes my don'ts. Something that I don't recommend doing is being on your phone. And this is probably also controversial, but I feel that you're not as connected with your customers when you're on your phone, and really the only time I use my phone during markets is to take a payment or to look at a pattern that I'm crocheting on. But other than that, I try to put my phone away because it's a little insensitive, and you want your customer to see the real you and the best side of you, and having your phone out and being on your phone watching TikToks or Instagram Reels or something like that is just not the best way to be spending a market. But that's also like personal preference, so still your decision. That's just what I found is like to me personally, it can come off a little rude, or like that you don't care about your company and what you're selling. I also think that display is an important part of markets. So try not to have everything just laid out on the table. Try to have different levels so that when people look straight at it, there's something eye level, there's something a little below, there's something on the table, there's stuff in containers. So that way, like, everything's separated. It's not just one big heap of products on the table. It helps people shop, and it helps people find the experience more enjoyable. Another thing is, don't forget to bring cash, like change. A lot of people pay in cash, and don't forget to have other forms of payments. The ones that I do are Square and Venmo and cash. I personally don't do Zelle or PayPal. That's just a personal preference thing, but if you want to do those two, you can do them too. I just recommend having other payment options because I've done a holiday boutique where people they were like, oh, like, we were here to work it, we weren't expecting to buy anything, and we didn't bring any cards. So then they could just Venmo. It was just really easy like that. So I recommend having more than one payment option. Another thing is to know your worth of your products and don't underprice your products. I have a pricing calculator, so if you guys want a video on that, I could definitely do a video on that, but I have a pricing calculator that takes into account the time, like for labor costs, the exact amount of materials that I use for costs, the booth fees, transactional fees, markup price, all of these other aspects that play a role into pricing all of my items. So I know that I'm making profit for my company and also getting paid at the same time. So if you guys want a video on that, you should definitely comment that. But know your worth. Don't underprice, because it's just going to hurt you in the long run. Also, don't forget to track your sales and track the items that are selling so you know what to bring to other markets and you know what your best sellers are. Something that is actually pretty difficult is writing those down. So in Square, there's a feature that you can actually type in exactly what you're selling so you know what has sold by the end of the day, and you can see it and you can see it in your reports for sales at the end of the night. So yeah, so like I said, now that your market is over and you have sold all the sales you can, or you have made all the sales you can, met all the customers you can, and packed up, gone home, you're not done with the market day yet. It's time to review your numbers, your sales, your items that were sold. You need to review absolutely everything, especially because you want to know what you need to make for the next market, and you want to know what's going to be selling the best. So I recommend taking notes of the sales in all different types of payment forms, so that way you can get a better idea of how much change to bring, what to expect for other markets, what products are selling the best. And also, don't forget to make sure that you're posting on social media about your markets, because it's just going to benefit you, and it'll also intrigue other people, especially those new followers that you guys have curated over the past couple of markets. They want to see what you're doing and how everything's going now and what new items you're selling. So make sure you keep up with that. I know that something that I'm also looking into doing is having them sign up for an email list if they're interested, so that way when I have a new launch, they can get the new products and that kind of thing. But keep them involved, keep them engaged. That's what they want. That's why they followed. They're interested in you, your journey, and your company, your business. So do that. Something else that I recommend is connecting with other vendors. That's actually how I get a lot of my market venues, like my organizations that do the markets, is you speak with other vendors around you, and I'm completely honest. I'm an open book. I'm like, hey, I didn't do good today. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm stressed out. And that's where I found a community and people that were actually there and willing to help me. And they'll give you opportunities and be like, hey, like, I understand that you're having a rough market today. Here is a couple of organizations that I use that are slightly cheaper in the price range for a booth fee, but I've definitely seen some more action at these ones. And so that's how you also gain more organizers that do markets to apply to and reach out to. So I definitely think it's important to speak to other vendors. Sometimes I find it a little hard, just because I don't even know why. I'm just socially not able to do it, especially at the end of the market. So I definitely have Sebastian help me out, and he'll go with me and we'll go talk to vendors, and vendors will come to us, and I really just need to be more social. That's what I'm learning right now. But another thing is, make sure you restock your product and prep for your next event as soon as possible. The more time you have to prep for an event, the better you're going to feel about it, and the more confident you are going to be, and the more sales you're going to get because of your confidence. So if you have any other questions or you want any other tips or tricks for markets, don't be shy. Don't be like me. Don't be shy, and comment what you want to see. I know that this video is a little different, but if you guys like this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new, because we'd love to have you here. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.